Dude, I think that people on Twitter have like they follow. I don't know how it works if you follow like a word, and I think they wait for the word liberty to be tweeted. Because, dude, I got people on there commenting that I don't think have ever watched a football game in their life.
No, absolutely not.
And they're like talking about all kinds of stuff that, personally, I don't particularly like. It's got nothing to do with football. That's what the tweets are all about. And anyway, it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, life on the X is wild. You can go down some pretty far rabbit holes on some things.
Yeah. Pretty exciting, though.
What it is.
Just Twitter. I, we're on right now, right? This is
Yeah,
not
we're
like
live.
related.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Well, this is unrelated, so let's talk about it now. Did you see Jimmy Kimmel and Aaron Rodgers here?
I just
No.
saw that.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
lot of panic mode from old Jimmy, as far as I'm concerned.
What's going on?
Well, so I guess a few weeks ago or a few months ago, Aaron Rodgers was on McAfee and said something about the Epstein list being released or whatever. Well, then like Jimmy Kimmel on the Kimmel show like clipped it, and they were basically like making fun of Aaron Rodgers. Well, today Aaron Rodgers went back on McAfee and like McAfee asked him, or I think AJ Hawk asked him, like they were talking about something, and AJ Hawk was like, Aaron, does this have anything to do with the Epstein list that's supposed to be coming out? And Aaron Rodgers said, let me find it. And I quote, there's a lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, that are really hoping that list doesn't come out. and
Really?
Jimmy Kimmel immediately got on Twitter and said, quote, dear asshole, for the record, I've not met, flown with, visited, or had any contact whatsoever with Epstein, nor will you find my name on any list other than the clearly phony nonsense that soft-brained wackos like yourself can't seem to distinguish from reality. Your reckless words put my family in danger. Keep it up, and we will debate the facts further in court. Sounds guilty. I mean, jeez, dude.
I love A-Rod, dude.
He's a dick, but he's pretty funny.
I don't know. I think he's hilarious myself.
I'm not a huge like McAfee guy, but that little segment's always pretty good. They always have some pretty good chatter on there. But
I love when he calls
anyway,
Tony Fauci Mr. Pfizer.
Did you see when Fitzmagic they had him on and he was like, "Hey, Aaron, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, twice vaccinated."
Because you know why he did that, right?
Well, didn't Aaron Rodgers say something about?
He said before you make statements, and I can't remember if he was saying like in regards to him or just in general, that you should have to preface like your vax status before you give the statements.
Dude, you know what's funny is like, I know like the vaccine and Epstein are quite a bit different, although they both seem to have a lot of politics involved. But like the difference between the way like Fitzpatrick went about it, like let's just make a joke and keep this thing. We'll go back and forth. Versus the way like Jimmy Kimmel reacts, it's just like, I don't know. Some of these people got to learn to have fun, especially a guy that claims to be a comedian.
Right.
But hey, anyway, before we get thrown off YouTube, do we want to start the show?
Yeah, let's do it. Got a lot to get into.
Got a lot to get into. You just tell me when to go, Jeff. Good evening and welcome into the #1 Group of 5 football podcast in all of the universe. This is the Group of 5 guys. If you don't know who we are, or if you're new here, our mission and our goal is to be the voice for the Group of 5 football programs that the mainstream sports media will not do. We're going to need some help doing that after this weekend. But we need your help to do that at all times. Follow us on all the social platforms at Group of 5 guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. Tell your family and friends all about us. We do a live show every Tuesday night and every Saturday morning during the season. And we're going to do something at least probably every other week during the off season. You can also go to group5guys.com and get you some Group of Five Guys swag. On this episode tonight, live, we are going to talk about what in the hell went wrong in Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl with the Liberty Flames. We got some transfer portal updates per usual. We're going to talk about the 5 things that you as a player can do to earn the respect of the community and your classmates. I'm sure we'll get into plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the 1st and 3rd round. Like, that's incredible.
That's
The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the Group of 5.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the Group of 5 programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this. But you guys are on the forefront of this, and
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of 5 because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
$2024. Y'all believe that?
It's wild.
2024. I mean, the kids that are going into college right now, what were they born in 2006?
Something like that. Let's see.
2005, 2006. Yeah, right? I mean, if they were born in...
Yeah, because they'd be 18. 2005.
Well, we're getting old, man. We are getting old. Do you guys make any New Year's resolutions, Murph?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a couple. Me and the wife, we're gonna try and we're trying to do a daily devotional in the morning. Start the day off with the word, with some scripture, just me and her. Start our days off right, and hopefully that'll just carry out through the days. And then spend some more one-on-one time individually. We got 3 boys, 8, 6, and 3. So life gets pretty busy. Life gets hectic, especially when you got, all of them playing sports. They're all in school. So just trying to each day at least spend like a good, chunk of time with each one-on-one, me and her. That's just something big that we're trying to do this year. Starting off, not that we didn't do it last year, but like I said, you guys know how it is. You guys have kids. Life gets real busy. So sometimes you get stuck in that routine. So just trying to break up the routine, trying to make sure that we're giving plenty of attention and one-on-one time to all of them. We don't want them to feel overlooked or anything. So those are the 2 big things. And then actually all January, boys, I'm just starting with January. Not a sip of alcohol. Trying to get lean. Mean and lean.
So here's the thing, Jeff. We're going to be in Mobile together, the 3 of us, the very last 2 days of January. You're telling me if we go out for a nice medium rare filet that you're not going to have a little whiskey on the rocks with Tip and I here?
Have a good Pellegrino, nice seltzer, mineral water.
Oh, man. Hey, man, that's good, though. That's good. A lot of those are similar. A lot of those are similar to like what I'm trying to do. But Tip, what about you?
Well, speaking of lean, I got some running shoes for Christmas from my wife. So
what you got?
Wait, time out. She just give them to you as like a look.
I asked for them.
Look, Tyler. Okay, all right.
What brand? What brand you go with?
Brooks.
It's a good shoe.
Yeah. But But yeah, I mean, like when I'm working out, I try and get a nice run in or something. But the shoes I have, they're just like the shoes I run in right now or before I got these were just extremely uncomfortable, and I was always having like foot pain and stuff. So asked for some nice running shoes. Haven't got a chance to use them yet, but I guess that's my resolution is just to run more. Got a nice uh track at my work that's like a mile long, little outdoor track. So just gonna try and get out there and do some running, do a lot more running. I just kind of I enjoy it, and I enjoy the like just the running and the like cardio part of it. I just, like Murph said, like with the kids and stuff like that, it's just life's just gotten crazy busy and kind of gotten away from working out as much as I would like to. So just going to try and get back into that rhythm of running and working out.
Let me know how those Brooks are. I'm looking for a nice pair of like shoes.
All right, yeah, I'll let you know.
You gonna start running too, Jeff?
God no, I hoop
Oh, I
twice
was
a
gonna
week.
say.
But I need good shoes. I'm always at my feet at work for
Yeah.
like 8 hours a day. So like some
Get
good
you. I mean,
running shoes.
I don't. I mean, everybody likes them Hokas to be, but they're gigantic, dude.
Yeah, I had those. What are those? On clouds.
On clouds.
Wasn't,
Yeah.
wasn't too impressed with them, to be honest.
I got these shoes. They're not really. I don't know if they would work for that. They're called Kane. Have you ever seen those? They basically, it's like a sneaker. It looks like Crocs, to be honest, but they're hella light and like soft. But I don't know if they would be good for being on your feet all day. They're supposed to be for like, instead of throwing on some slides, like when you're done hooping or whatever, like you can wear them to the store or whatever. But anyway, for me, so I've been following a lot of these entrepreneurial gurus on Instagram. So I'm going to have to start waking up at 3:47 a.m., dive right into the cold plunge, listen to a book on double speed, have the whole book done by 6 a.m. I'm just kidding.
I was about to be like, dude.
No, dude. No, what you can't do with resolutions is like flip your entire life upside down. That's where people fail. They're like, it's
Wait,
like,
I thought you're supposed to like go the most extreme,
no, dude.
change your diet, change your workout regimen.
One thing at a
all at
time if you
once.
want it to be a long term. That's why people fail at these things. Like if you're like for Tip, like if Tip's just, hey, I'm just start running a little bit.
My goal is to
Tip
go
didn't say-
run twice a week. Like that's
Tip
that's my
didn't
goal.
say I'm running in the Ironman in February. I want to do 6 marathons all year. I want to, because then you get to the first one and you're like, yeah, nah, I ain't doing that. But anyway, no, for me, Murph, you brought up a lot of the stuff about the kids. Like Lauren and I, my wife talked about is just more like intentional time with them. And for me, because I'm always on that damn Twitter, like I kind of said a thing like no phones at the table, no phones if we're outside. We work out in the garage, like the whole like wife and I do the same workout, and then the kids play or whatever. So like no phone out there, no phone when we're walking outside. So just like that intentional time with the kids. And then yeah, I mean everybody's got the fitness thing. I'm pretty good about working out. My thing is the eating. So I just said I didn't want to do like a dry January, but I just said you guys are it's gonna be tough for me. No alcohol or energy drinks, but 1 day a week is my thing. So that way, like, and I'm not trying. Yeah, y'all know me. I don't ever.
Black coffee's okay though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, black coffee. So, dude, I have my little Middle Tennessee like Yeti. I filled it to the brim with black coffee. It took me the whole day. I will say this: it takes me the whole day to drink it. Like where energy drinks are delicious, and I'll drink a whole can before I even get to work. And I'm like, that was supposed to be for like the afternoon crash, and I've had it at 7:30 in the morning. So those are my main ones is the intentional time with the kids. But yeah, dude, you can't be, for anybody listening out there, again, I'm not some guru, but like if you're trying to lose weight and you eat whatever you want and don't exercise, do not say like, don't go to the damn gym and buy the most expensive membership and say that you're going to go 7 days a week, twice a day, because it ain't going to happen. Make it something nice and easy. Like say like, hey, I'm going to do a 10-minute walk after dinner every day and to go to the gym once a week and do a workout or something of that nature. Like don't I don't know. Don't say like if you're trying to go to church, probably not like, hey, I'm going to go to church every Sunday and go to the Wednesday service and do a small group Bible study on Tuesday. And because it'll just be too much of you change. It's like you're a completely different. It's like a completely different life at that point. So you got to just take it one step at a time, and then maybe eventually you will get to that point.
Well, Sprouse, you may not be a guru, but I am. I follow all the health and fitness TikToks on my phone, so I know exactly what to do. You got to start the NO explode. You got to get on the sups.
I thought you were going to say with
raw liver.
Creatine,
raw liver. I mean, why eat a vegetable when you can eat a testicle? I mean, it's pretty simple. Liver King.
He's really fallen off, dude.
He has. He looks terrible.
He's back on the juice, and I think he's doubled his dose. I think he's doubled his dose. Yeah, he looks huge, but he looks like very I don't know, how to describe it. He looks like a big piece of leather that he just tried to like put on something.
Bacon in the sun for too long.
Hey, anyway, we're getting way off. What in the hell happened to Liberty, Jeff? I start with you. I got a little tip. I'm sure you got some info for us. What happened, dude?
Well, we said it, when we talked about, kind of previewed the game. They had to play a perfect game. It had to go their way. So they come out. I love the confidence. You win the coin toss. You want the ball. You go right down and score. You set the tone, right? And then your kicker freaking misses the PAT, which kind of, it doesn't completely deflate you, but it definitely is like, oh, come on. Like, you got to make the field goal, right? And then I thought their defense did well initially off the start. Now, and I said this as well, like, you're not going to stop Oregon's offense. Like, you got to get a couple stops. You have to win the turnover battle. You have to control time of possession. They did. They lost both of them, right? So what happened was, in my opinion, was they made stupid pre-snap penalties. You can't have false starts. You can't have holding penalties. Like, those are drive killers. Absolutely drive and momentum killers. And then the other thing is, when you play in these games, like, say what you want to say, I think the biggest thing between, the Power 5 or the couple Power 5 schools that we talk about and the Group of 5, other than size and physicality, is when you make a mistake at the Group of 5 level, other Group of 5 teams, they might pick it off, or they might capitalize, or they might not. You do that against a team like Oregon, who, mind you, is not far from the college football playoff, making that playoff. They made mistakes. And Oregon capitalized on them. You add on top of that a couple tough calls that didn't go their way. Once they got down, it was just they couldn't come back. And that defense really started to get beat up front. Oregon figured out after, I think it was like the fourth or fifth drive, like, we can just pound the rock on these guys, and there's not much that they can really do. And then the offense just couldn't keep up. So ultimately it was, they made mistakes. Oregon's a damn good team. You had a Heisman, finalist. Give Oregon credit, but they didn't play the game that they needed to play, bottom line.
Yeah, and you mentioned Oregon being close to the playoff. I mean, they lost to Washington by 3 twice, and that's it. And they would be, had they won one of those games, they're probably in the playoff, maybe as the 4. Had they won both of them, they'd be the number one. They'd be the number 1 team in the country. And Bo Nix looked really good, and we saw how good Washington was. I think everybody was a little unsure, but
Penix is a real deal.
Complete side note, Penix got robbed of the Heisman. That dude's something else. But it's like, and also Oregon beat, I think it was 7 teams this season by that margin or more. So like, it isn't like, they played a Group of 5 team and look what happened. Like, they did that to the mighty Buffaloes of Colorado. They did it to Stanford. They did it to, I think, Washington State. They did it to Cal. A bunch of the kind of mid to bottom tier Pac-12 teams they beat by that much. But you talked about the mistakes, and like, I think people need to realize when you watch that game, if you see the score, you see 45-6, and then if you watch it, you're like, dang, Oregon, like, they dominated them, and they did. But when you're the underdog, the extreme underdog like Liberty was, like, you got your one shot to stay in the game or to win the game. And, Liberty went right down and scored. And I noticed 2 things. One, I noticed on that first drive, just the energy level on the sideline. The whole team was running down the sideline celebrating. And the minute that Oregon had success on offense, that energy went away from Liberty's sideline. And I get it. That's emotions. That's, the kind of game that, unfortunately, Liberty's never been in before. So sometimes the emotions can get a little too much. You have all this energy built up over weeks and weeks and weeks, and then you blow your load on the very first drive, and then it's like, okay, now we got to settle in and play football. But then you go down 24-6, and everybody's thinking, I mean, we're texting in the group like, they better do something here, or it's going to get ugly real quick. And Liberty has their best drive of the game. They're, and they do it with, I think that was the drive that had the apparently the thumb in the face mask is not a face mask. If you only grab the bottom bar of the face mask, that's not a face mask according to the rule book there. But then the other thing is, and then I think that was the one where they took Cooley's helmet off, wasn't it? Was it that same drive? And he got rocked with his helmet off. He got hit. Like, could have been multiple penalties. But either way, they overcame those. They had a great drive, and then it's this about 45 seconds of gameplay that is just such a microcosm of group of 5 teams or underdogs getting beat by these. It's not just Power 5. It's these blue blood, like, dominant teams that have been dominant for decades. So you have this drive, and then, Salter makes the throw, and it's not a perfect throw, but it's easily a catchable ball, and they drop it. So, maybe if you're playing Western Kentucky right there, it's a dropped pass, next down, try it again. But not only do you drop it, it then gets intercepted. Oregon's going to capitalize. But then, also in a game like that, you're never going to get the 50-50, ever. You are never going to get the benefit from the refs. So most people seem to think that was an incomplete pass, but guess what? Interception. Oregon gets the ball. Then, okay, there's like a minute and a half left in the half. So you can't give up big plays. So instead of you catch that pass, now it's 1st and 10 from like the 20-yard line. You got a chance to, at minimum, come away with 3 right there. And you have 24-13 or 24-9 with a little bit of momentum going into half. Then Oregon goes down the field in like 3 plays, and they're in the end zone. So 24-13 with some momentum becomes 31-6 based on 3 plays like that, and the game's over at that point. I mean, and that's it. So, like, Liberty had that was the shot they had to. I'm not saying they would have won the game, but you probably would have seen a final score of like 35-17 or 35-20 if they go score on that drive right there. And unfortunately, you have the mistake. Oregon capitalizes, and then your defense, whether they're demoralized or whatever, gives up 2 huge plays back to back, and then they're in the end zone, and now the game's over. And thank God we didn't go out there. That would have been pretty miserable. But anyway, that's what I saw. It's unfortunate. I don't think that the moment was too big for them or anything like that. I just think, again, a couple huge momentum plays that went Oregon's way, and that put the game away. But Tip, do you see anything? Do you see anything on that? I didn't. I thought C.J. Daniels played really well. I mean, he had some big plays, I should say. Salter was fine, and then I thought Cooley was good. But again, if you go down 24-13, sorry to take your spot here, Tip, but you go down 24-13, and you can come out in the second half and you can run the ball, which has been sort of working for you. But now you're down 31-6, and you can't do the one thing that's been okay for you. So it's tough, man. Sorry, Tip. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So, I mean, for Liberty, you couldn't ask for a better start, right? Oregon's first 2 possessions are a field goal and a 3-and-out, and you're leading 6-3 at the end of the first quarter. But then Liberty, as easily as they drove down the field on that first drive, that first possession, they had a lot of stalls. They had back-to-back 3-and-outs in the second quarter, I believe. And there was just I noticed on a couple of occasions there were some quick slants, like it was 3rd and short, like 3rd and 3, 4, 3rd and 5 range, quick slants or just quick routes that Salter put the ball there, and and the receiver would drop it or something. Just saw some of those examples, and that ends your drive right there. I mean, those are plays you got to make in these big games like that. And yeah, like you mentioned, Sprouse, that like I felt like the game was over there at the end of the second quarter with that interception call. I mean, that's potentially a 14-point swing right there. If Liberty's able, they had a nice drive going there to try and end the half to get at least a field goal, maybe a touchdown, and then to for that interception call to not go their way, and have Oregon. I mean, Oregon scored after their field goal and punt. They scored a touchdown on their next 6 possessions. So, and in the second half, Liberty only had 3 total possessions. Oregon just dominated the time of possession. They had a 7.5-minute touchdown drive, and then at the end of the game, they had a 6-minute drive that just sealed the game and ended it there.
And they honestly they could have scored again right there, because then they take a knee inside the 5 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. I thought I think this is something, and I'm getting chastised on Twitter right now for my my take on how to repair college football, but I think, and I don't think this has anything to do with Liberty in particular, but I thought all the games yesterday were pretty sloppy. I mean, even that Michigan-Alabama game was so sloppy for 2 of the, bluest of blue bloods. I mean, just special teams Michigan's special team was awful. Bama was sloppier than any Alabama team I've ever seen. And then, Liberty, whether it's an overmatched thing or they were sloppy or what, it's just, I think having a month off I don't like it at all, man. I don't like it at all.
It's tough. It's hard to keep your guys locked in, and I think that's one thing that Saban's done well at Alabama is keeping those guys particularly focused. Now, obviously, you saw what happened in the game this year, but in years past, he's done a good job. But I want to just go back real quick. I don't for as much hype as Salter had coming into this game, I think he underperformed, and not necessarily in the sense that like watching him, but if you go like deep within the game and you actually go back and watch, he made a couple poor decisions on some triple option stuff where he should have pitched it. I felt like on twice, and one time I felt like he should have handed the ball off where I thought Cooley would have had a big run. So it's like it's all kind of what ifs, but at the same time, like all the times that he did that, he had negative plays, which got them behind the chains. Like you got to stay in front of the chains. And then once they got down, obviously they couldn't really run that as much. I thought they should have, because that worked great on the first drive. Every time they kind of ran it, they had success doing it when he made the right decision.
Yeah.
Now, when he didn't, it hurt them. And I don't know if that caused the OC to kind of go away from that, thinking that, it's just not working. But, you got to do what you've been running all year. And I know you get down big. I mean, if you look at the second quarter, that's where they lost the game, 28-0.
Yep.
So, if they would have just minimized some of that damage and minimized some of their mistakes, I think they would have a better shot in the second half. But, we saw Salter go into the portal today. That's got to be like the fact that it happened so fast. To me,
been in the
says
works.
that he knows. He knew
100%, dude.
He knew
All
he
the
was
guys.
leaving. So it's just like, how much of that is premeditated? How much of that affects his mindset going into the game? I don't know. And I'm not going to bag the guy. He did a hell of a job for Liberty this year. I'm sure all the fans love him and they hate to see him go. But damn, it's just another symptom of the portal and NIL just screwing something up.
Well, yeah, and this is not a specific to Liberty thing either. So, I'm sure Oregon's got guys like that too. But, to me, when it's immediately after the game, they're in the portal, and then we're probably going to see tomorrow that he's committed somewhere. It's like, come on, man. Like that it's been in the works, which is supposedly one of the few things that is still illegal. And you're seeing it all over the place. And yeah, like it's kind of like when the rumors start swirling of a coach leaving. It's like, yeah, they're still there and yeah, you're going to game plan, but there's just other things on your mind. And it's not like, and you can't control that either. Like, it's not like I'm not saying like Caden Salter's in the huddle and taking snaps thinking about his next school. It's just something that's on his mind. It's like when back in the day when your high school coach would be so mad when you got a girlfriend or something like that. Cause it's just like something else on your mind. And you're not 100% locked in. And you got to think that that's happening with these guys all over the place. And I mean, honestly, that the month off and all the other stuff, like, I don't know. It's just, I think the whole, I don't think, maybe it was just this season, but I don't think that football as a whole was just as good this year. Maybe I'm way off. Now, still just as exciting to me, but I don't know. I think these guys going all over the place and all that is, I don't think it's helping. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago when Tom Brady said that in the NFL it's not as good, and I bet that it's a symptom of this.
Yeah,
they're not staying in one system, developing, getting better. They're going all over the place. And then they go to the NFL, and then the NFL GMs and coaches are asking a rookie come in and prove it right away, and they're really not even like they really haven't even learned yet.
Yeah,
So.
and one last thing on this whole Salter situation. It's like with that month off, that dude's phone's getting blown up every single day with the season that he has, right? And I'm going to eat a little bit of crow for something I said last year at the end of last season, when Chadwell, was leaving Coastal going to Liberty. I made the statement how much of Chadwell's success at Coastal was tied to Grayson McCall. Well, I think that question's been answered.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Chadwell is the guy that can run an offense, develop quarterbacks, and mold the right athlete into the quarterback for his system. So you got a guy like Salter who has a phenomenal year statistically. He has all the film that he wants. I don't know where he's going. He ends up going, and this is just rumors I've seen on Twitter. You go to a place like TCU, they don't have that system. They don't, from what I've seen, other than, what's his name, Duggan, 2 years ago when they were in the national championship. Like, they're not a quarterback producing school. So you're going to go down there, who had a terrible year this year, and have to compete for that job, I guarantee you. It's not just going to be given to you in that NIL check that you're going to get. There's no way they're giving it to you all up front. That'd be a dumb move by the collective. So I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he has success wherever he goes. I'm just saying, guys, please be smart about what you're doing. If you want to go to the NFL, you need film. You need tape. You need stats. That is what you need. The NFL will find you. You go to a big school and you get lost in the shuffle, you're done. You're going to be playing in the XF USFL that's just combined.
Yeah, merger, huh? Well, it's also, to me, it's high risk, low reward to make the transfer like that, because for him, there's some guys like, you go and look at like Tez Johnson, right, that left Troy and went to Oregon. Yeah.
By the way, that guy's a stud.
Dog. Yeah, he's a good ball player. But like, obviously it worked out for him, and obviously, he had, at least according to the story, Bo Nix is his guy, and like they're like family and whatever, and
it's like adopted brother.
Yeah. Well, he also wasn't like in the national spotlight already. So Caden Salter like just went 13-0, and if he goes into next year, he's gonna have all the hype like Grayson McCall has had the past 3 years. Like, he's gonna go in as the guy in the group of 5, and if he has another good season, he's probably gonna get drafted really high, which very likely he has another really good season. If he goes to any Power 5, it's basically gonna be be the savior, or it's a failure. So like,
i.e. Tanner Mordecai.
Right. Tanner Mordecai threw more touchdowns in the bowl game the other day than he threw all season with Wisconsin. Did you see that?
Wild.
Yeah. Against against LSU? Is that who they played? Anyway.
Was it? I can't remember.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah. So if he goes to a TCU, or I think I saw Miami one person. This is all Twitter, so who knows? I think I saw. I can't remember. I think I saw Florida State. No, Florida State already got their guy. DJ Uigalele, who, by the way, that's a perfect example. His dad was all over social media blaming Dabo. Oh, it's Clemson's fault. Dabo sucks, this and that. And it's like, now you're transferring again. So, like who, you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, and that kid's case, Uigalele's case, it's like his dad's very vocal. It's quite obvious to me who's making the decisions around there. So I hope, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like, I just hope these kids, like, you know, your uncles, I hate to say it, but your parents, like your parents, your uncles, your brothers, your friends, your relatives, your high school coach, like, just be careful who's in your ear the most, and make sure that everybody's looking out for your best interest, not their own. But yeah, it's going to be a failure if he goes to one of these, if he goes to one of these 7-5 Power 5 schools, and all these fan bases and these coaches think, well, they're telling them, hey man, we're a QB away from playing in the playoff, and they go there and they mess around and go 7-5 again. It's a failure, and then your draft stock just went like that, because you're no different from the guy that they just replaced. Anyway, we got to move on. What are we supposed to talk about? Do we have anybody else in the portal? At Texas State, by the way, Ishmael Mahdi staying. Big news.
Also at Texas State, Malik Hornsby, their backup quarterback's in the portal. I'm hoping and praying that means TJ Finley is going to stay at Texas State. Now, on his little story or whatever, it said, Dear Texas State, ... and it was like coming soon. So I don't know when he's going to.
Gotta be coming back.
It has to be, right? I
You
mean,
can't
if
do
you
that
get
in a
Finley
league, boy.
if you get Finley and Mahdi back, they're the
with-
favorites in the West, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
100% they are.
Because South is, in my opinion, other than Lopez looked good, but they're kind of a bit of a mess. They got guys in the portal.
Yeah.
Troy has
Troy,
lost so much. So
Yeah.
fighting GJ Kinney's.
I hope he stays, and I hope they're good, because we had a great time in San Marcos, but we have not been to a game out there.
No, we have not.
And
get back down there.
And we didn't get to go in the river because
Very true.
But anyway, so before we sign off here, so I've got another list for you. This is for the players, and this stems from an incident that happened over the last couple of weeks, but we'll get to that point. This is the top 5 things that you as a player can do to help earn the respect of your classmates, of your community, and create genuine, long-term fans of not only you, but of the program. And I think a lot of this stems from, when we went to Charlotte in our first year doing this. Charlotte was a bad ball club. Charlotte still is not fantastic. But for whatever reason, that student section at Charlotte rides for that team. I mean, they're nuts. And when Will Healy was there, we talked to him, because when we went there, we didn't know the story. And a couple guys on the team came up pregame, shook our hands, introduced themselves. And we were like, we're like, damn, we're big time. Whole team knows the group of 5 guys. And then come to find out it was just something that they preach around the program was, hey, look, introduce yourself to new people every day. And I think that part of that culture is what draws that Charlotte student section in every week. So this is kind of what you can do as a player to get that kind of support from not only your classmates, but from the community. Number 1, easy one. Most of you probably do this anyway. Wear your team gear when you're out and about. Now, be careful. Don't wear it when you're doing dumb stuff. Okay. It's quite obvious if you're in a college town who's on the football team. I mean, it's pretty clear when, average Joe is like, 5'9", 160, and there's a bunch of random, like 6'5", 280-pound people walking around. Everybody knows you're on the football team. So, act like it. And when you're wearing your team gear, you're out and about, sparks up conversations, be respectful, do like the Charlotte guys were doing, shake hands, introduce yourself. Hey man, yeah, I'm Jeff Murphy. I play quarterback over at Middle. Love to see you at a game next weekend or whatever. Love to see you in the stands, man. Hey, let me see if I got any family coming into town. Maybe I can drop you some tickets or something like that. You got any kids? Maybe I'll throw in my gloves after the game. Things like leads to that fans of not only you, but of that football team forever, man. And you honestly, you might make somebody that's not even a football fan become a fan because of that. You might have somebody that like has a perception, and they're going to become a fan just because of the interaction they have with you. So don't do the other side of it and snub somebody or whatever, be the guy that's whatever, wearing sweatpants and a wife beater, walking around Walmart acting like an idiot. Number 2, get involved in the community. I know every team has opportunities to do community service or, do a children's hospital or go read to kids or do, we always did the special needs camp at Middle with Coach Stock. So any opportunity you can to do those kind of things, do them. Again, you're creating relationships and you're creating fans for life. And a lot of times it's with young kids that are going to grow up always remembering that time that they interacted with XYZ football player from the team. So that I think is a big one. Now, these next 3 are your top 3, and these are the 3 that I think we have the biggest issue with. I think that these are the things that are not happening as much as they should. So going down, we did number 5, we did number 4. Here's number 3. Go to class. Participate in class. Get to know your teacher, your professor. Participate in your little group projects. You don't have to, I'm not telling you got to sit in the front row, but man, if you participate, if you come in there, you wear your, what's up, Jeff?
Well, no, I wanted to just piggyback off your point when you're done.
Well, yeah, I was just, going back to wearing the team gear. You wear the team gear. Please don't wear headphones and your hood up in class. Take your hood up. Don't sleep in class. Like, you got to sit through like 2 hours of class a day, man. It's not that big of a deal. And honestly, like, most people ain't going to the league. Like, and it's not necessarily what you're going to learn in the class, but it's the network you're going to do with those professors and those other students that's going to help you in the long run. What's up, Jeff?
As the husband of a professor at MTSU, and she has all types of different students, and she has plenty of football players, basketball players, of all different sports at MTSU. All you have to do is show up, not be an asshole, and participate. If you do those 3 things, and this goes for any student really, like, your teacher, when it comes down to crunch time, if you need help, they are going to help you. But if you don't show up and you show up late and you're constantly causing issues, and at the end of the semester you need help, you need an extra assignment or need to turn something in late, I promise you that they're not going to help you. They're not going to help you with that grade. They're not going to help you pass that class, whatever the case may be. And then ultimately, you're making a bad perception of athletes for the entire school on that professor. Now, my wife being, married to a former athlete and her being an athlete herself, it's a little bit different. Now, you get some of these other teachers that are not athletic, that could care less about athletes and sports. Like, you are doing a tremendous disservice to the entire athletic department, yourself, and the team, because that teacher's going to think that every single player is just like you, and they're not going to promote you. They're not going to go to your game. They're not going to tell students about going to the game. Like, it's easy. Show up. Don't be a jerk, and just participate. That's it. That's literally it.
Well, there's already a perception of athletes, right? That, they have somebody doing their work for them, or, they get everything handed to them. And it couldn't be further from the truth. But there's a lot of athletes that feed into that stereotype by acting like they're not worried about it. Somebody will do it for them because, again, there's people on staff that are literally there to make sure you're doing your stuff. And so, like, if you go in there and you're a great student, like I had a few professors, and if you're in the business, in business school, like, most people are you got sports fans and things of that nature. But if you're in one of these, like, I don't even know what they would be, but where none of the students ever gave a shit about sports. That professor never gave a shit about sports. And they think you're just there, taking up someone else's spot at the university. You're this, like, their perception of you is already one thing. So you're going to have to earn the right for them to feel a different way about you. And like, yeah, dude, I had very few professors that would like promote there was football games going on. Very few. And then, man, like, dude, I got a couple professors that it's funny. The ones that you participate the most, like you said, Jeff, they're willing to help the most. Those are my favorite classes, anyways. Like, because you show the respect towards the professor shows the respect back towards you. And then, you can help for some of you, you can help mend the damage that a previous athlete has done with that professor. So you gotta, that's a big one. Go to class, participate. Don't be an idiot. Don't be late. It's not very difficult. Just sit there. You don't even have to like say much. Just kind of like sit there, look like you're paying attention. Number 2, this is Tip brought this one up. This is a big one. Timeliness of social media. Don't get on there right after a game. Don't get on there bad mouthing another team, your own team. Fans. Yeah. Like, you can't do it. And I'll be honest about this. This is an issue at Middle. And we badmouth fans all the time, but we ain't on the team anymore. But like, it's a bad look. I mean, you need the fans, and fans are going to say the stuff that they say. You just gotta let it roll. Just let it go, man. It's not like the regular fans. Yes, they don't know the work that's put in. They don't know what went into the preparation of the game, but they're fans and they paid money to go to the game, and it's a free country last time I checked. So they can say what they want, but you just got to let it go. But don't do this stuff like Florida State is doing right now. Like, because Bama lost, Florida State players are all over Twitter talking about how, Bama didn't deserve to be in. It's like, bro, you guys just lost by 60 points. 60 points. Please don't get on Twitter and talk about another team. Like, it's just idiotic, and you can't do it. Now, on the flip side of that, yeah, get on social media. Thank the fans. Thank the fans for coming. If you took a picture with a fan, or if you got a tight, picture celebrating with the fans in the end zone or with the student section or something, post it, tag people, get them going. That's how you're going to get your NIL deals also, by the way. And so, it's just the timeliness of it. I think that, honestly, I wish programs would have like a, maybe they do now, like a social media advisor, and they could, I don't know. I mean, I know some coaches were like banning Twitter for a while, but I don't think they could get away with that anymore. But it's a bad look when you get on there.
And even in a losing effort, like, you get on social media and say, like, tough loss today. I didn't play my best. We as a team did not play our best, but thank you, fans, for coming out and supporting us and stuff. And I guarantee you that's going to do nothing but just it'll be a positive, not only for you personally, but for the program and for the school. And the fans, yeah, obviously they're going to be upset like after a loss, but if you and multiple players are posting things like that, it helps. Like, it definitely helps with the fans, about their emotions, about being upset about the loss, but they appreciate the players noticing that they were there, they were interacting during the game. And yeah, I mean, you just want to, like, after a win or a loss, just keep everything in a positive light.
2 things. Who's really good at that tip is Frank Harris at UTSA. He's really good at that. I think he after every game this year, he had a post about, how great the dome was or whatever. And then also, like you said, it like tempers the fans. If a fan was getting ready to go on there and tweet about how bad the quarterback played, and they get on there and they see the quarterback said, like, hey man, I didn't play my best, we'll bounce back next week. Fan probably is going to think twice about, talking trash about that quarterback or calling for his job or whatever he's going to do. So that's a really good one. As we were talking, I just thought of one more that this is not the number one, but it's kind of like a, number 6, I guess you could say it, is go to other sporting events. Go to the women's volleyball, go to the baseball games, go to the basketball games, because the worst thing that you can have is a school where the own athletes don't support each other. That's the worst thing you could have, because you think the regular students and the community want to support you, and you can't get your guys that's locker rooms across the hallway to support you. That's so go to the other games. I realize, yeah, other than football, people play a couple times a week. They're playing on weeknights a lot of times, but you're not doing nothing. Go to the basketball game for an hour and a half. Go to the baseball game for a little bit. Go watch women's volleyball, soccer, whatever. And I think those students will reciprocate it, and they won't be playing baseball at, whatever, UTSA and cheering for the Longhorns in football. That's what you don't want. Number 1, will encompass all of this stuff. This is in class. This is in the community. This is on social media. It's very simple. Don't be an asshole. Okay? So don't be, again, in the grocery store stealing stuff, or at the grocery store, whatever, leaving stuff in the wrong place on purpose, or doing all the stupid TikTok pranks that kids are doing these days. Don't be, if you get pulled over, be respectful to the police officer. Tell you this, if you do stuff like that, you probably get away with some things. Just a little heads up in case anybody was curious. If you, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, completely understand. Yes, sir, I get it. I'm going right here. My apartment's right there. I'll be there 30 seconds. I'm locking the door. We're going to bed. All of us, everybody's safe. Oh, awesome, man. Hey, have a good night. Good luck Saturday. Bet you that's how it'll go, versus if you argue or start cussing or act like an idiot, whatever. Also, if you have, especially if you live, well, honestly, on campus or off campus, if you have an off-campus house, you're having parties and stuff, man, the next morning, go out there and pick up the beer cans. Keep your grass cut. Don't be having music blasting at all hours of the night if the neighbors, start complaining. Or, live out there in the country or something where you can do it. If you got an apartment or something, be social to your neighbors. This is like super, like, honestly, this is like basic humanity. But unfortunately, the perception is, oh, that's the football house. That's why it looks like crap all the time. That's why there's trouble in that house all the time. That's why the cops get called over there all the time. It's a football house. You don't want that. So, if it does happen, which it will, you'll have some type of interaction with police or with a local person or whatever. Just be respectful about it. Own up to mistakes or whatever. Don't argue with anybody. Yes, sir. No, sir. It's not a very difficult thing to do. And then, same thing we talked about it for going to class. Participate in your group projects. Be respectful to the teachers. Don't be an ass. Don't be cussing. Don't be, doing all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Anything, you guys got anything else? All this stuff is stuff that, we've all seen firsthand on both sides. So unfortunately it happens at every school, but
we've seen it. Yeah. I mean, we've seen it from players that did it. I mean, we did it. We saw players that did the opposite, and it didn't work out too well for them. So, just coming from experience.
I gotta bring this up. Sorry to bring this up. We talked about it before the show. So this deal in Oxford. So I don't know if you've seen it, and obviously there's like very short videos. So I'm not gonna like speculate what happened, but it's interesting that when we went to Oxford, you have their main bar, nightclub, whatever it is, Brick Street, and it seems like it's competing for students during football games. And you're thinking, why, man? Like, if somehow they can work together. But then you have an incident with a football player, with staff at the bar, and there's an altercation. So I'm not going to accuse anybody of doing anything. I don't know. I wasn't there. But, I'm not saying that this particular kid did anything wrong. Again, I don't know. But in these instances, when you're at the local bars or restaurants, like, look, you're going to be the guy in there that's twice as big as everybody else in there. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to have some, little chihuahua that's had too much to drink that thinks he can talk to you a certain way or whatever. Or, yeah, you're going to know that you're bigger and you're going to think, oh, I'm a football player, so I can get away with stuff or whatever. You can't just go in there and be like everybody else, man. Pay for your drinks, pay for your food, be respectful. Don't. And when these people start yapping, you got to let it it's just like Twitter. You just got to let it go, man. You got to understand that, like, that's people. And when they see a alpha male, they think they want to take the alpha down and take over the pride. You just gotta let their words go, man, because everybody else knows the deal. So you just can't have incidents like that, because again, in this Oxford incident, again, I don't know what happened, but I promise you this: now you have a bunch of football players that probably hate the bar staff. Now you have a bar staff that probably hates the football team, and so you're gonna wonder why you're competing with each other when you got to have that synergy, as they call it in the corporate world.
You do.
Anyway, I'm done. I'm over it. I got to get to bed. My New Year's resolution, I got a double speed book that starts at 4:30 a.m. while I'm in the cold plunge meditating.
There you go.
But
let's knock out these only got two
a
voicemails.
couple voicemails.
As always, give us a call, 615-900-4286. We want to hear from you, whatever your hottest takes is this offseason. If you got some news that's coming down the pike you want us to know, give us a call. Let's get to our first one. Caesar down in UTEP, one of our good friends.
Hey, group of five guys. This is Coach Caesar here in El Paso, Texas, the University of Texas at El Paso. Well, I've done a lot of calling this season because there wasn't much to call about. It was kind of a rough season for us, watching only 3 wins while our neighbors 45 minutes up the road were going to bowl games and championship games. So it was kind of rough, kind of hard to deal with. And then, hey, if there was a national championship for being a nice guy, Dana Dimmel would have won it every year. Unfortunately, that doesn't win games. Hey, Scotty Walden, though, man. I hope this guy's fire translates to wins. He's a fiery guy, jumping up and down. You just see him at these press conferences. The guy's alive. He's getting people excited. So, hey, I'm hoping for a better year next year. Never followed Austin P, but apparently we have their coaching staff, Jason transfers from there. Could be a different year for us next year. So, not really sure. And speaking of the guys up the road, I actually kind of feel bad for them. Seeing them lose their coaching staff and a lot of their players to the transfer portal after successful years. It's rough. I mean, hey, rivalries aside, my brother went there and my sister-in-law, so I guess I got to be nice at some point and not talk trash all the time. Anyway, top of that, yesterday was a rough day trying to watch the Liberty Flames represent Conference USA, and some quacking team wound up going up for the big win. But, well, it didn't happen, but hey, it was good to see. Hey, Coach Caesar again. I didn't realize I was rambling so much. I got cut off. Anyway, it was good to see the Liberty play in an NY6 Bowl. I mean, hey, didn't go too well, but they got there, and that's more than a lot of other teams get. Aside from that, I think my biggest enjoyment is watching this flag bearer argue with people on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it now. Anyway, guys, hope you all had a happy New Year, and, well, hope to see you guys at a game sometime in the future. I know Middle Tennessee is coming to El Paso next time, but anyway, guys, like I said, hope you all had a happy New Year, and I'll be watching out for you guys. See ya.
Appreciate it, Caesar. We do need to get back. I mean, I know I went down there. It's an awesome place to catch a game. It's just hard to get down to Old El Paso. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like to get down there.
We will.
It's far out there. We got to get. I feel like if we're gonna go, that's where I feel like if we're gonna go that far, we got to go to the Mountain West first.
You got to make a trip or something out of it.
Yeah.
Sweep down,
we'll
come up or something. But appreciate it, Caesar. Help us out. We want to get Scotty Walden on here for an interview. So if you can put us in touch, I'll reach out to the one guy, but he never got back to me. So let's get to our last one. Zach Green.
Post game.
Yep. What's up, guys? Zach Green here, just calling in to give my thoughts about the Fiesta Bowl. And, man, that was, let's just say, not good. Oregon absolutely dominated. Liberty's offense said needed to be relentless. They were not. Can't really blame them, though, because Oregon was just so good. The The refs definitely didn't do us any favors, but even if they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, we still would have lost by multiple touchdowns. So I'm not going to use that as an overall excuse, although I would have liked to see more equal and fair refereeing. But still, we still would have lost. The missed PAT was rough at the beginning of the game. I thought that might have an impact on the game, but turns out it didn't. Tip, I'm sure you could have made that kick. But rough game. Don't really have a lot of other thoughts on it. But overall, I'm just so proud of this team, proud to be an alumni. And this is just one more step on the journey. We've seen the big stage now, and now it's time to get back there and do better next time. And I believe we will. If, for anybody that's paying attention, we're one of the most resourced group of fives, maybe the most resourced group of fives. We've got a high level of commitment. We're not going anywhere. So we'll be back. It's not like we're going to be there every year or anything, but we'll be back, and we'll be competing for it, and I'm excited about that. It's going to be some great opportunities in the future starting next season. So proud of the team, disappointed in the game, but proud of the team. Excellent season. Not much else I need to say about that. One thing I will say, though, is I just found out that Caden Salter is in the portal on the last day of the portal. And now that sucks, but we're going to be okay. We've got a couple of young studs in the stable right now. Reese Mooney will be a redshirt freshman next year, and Jalen Bradford. Thomas, we might also hit the portal. We'll see. I think we're going to be okay because we haven't lost. We didn't have a lot of. I don't know. I think we're going to be okay. It's just what I've got to say. I got to study the roster a little bit more, but anyways, just kind of speaking off the cuff here. Proud of the team. Very happy about the season. Actually, surprisingly, not that worried about Caden Salter leaving, though. It sucks, though. And anyways, thanks, guys. Go Flames.
Appreciate it, Zach. He's always just very stable-minded.
Rational?
Yeah, rational. That's the term I'm looking for, rational.
Yeah.
So,
You need guys like him in this world, Jeff.
I agree.
Hey, by the way, so just as far as the next couple weeks go, so we are going to take, I think, the rest of January off as far as the show goes. Barring an emergency, we might, something happens, we might have to get on here, have a little emergency press conference. But we will be down for, I believe, all 3 of the Senior Bowl practices. So can't wait to see when that roster gets finalized. I know there's already a bunch of Group of 5 guys on the roster: Malachi Corley, Michael Pratt, a couple other ones are on there. Another Tulane guy, I can't remember which one it is.
Need to get Sam Pickney on there.
Need to get Sam Pickney on there. Yep. But really excited to be down there, see those guys. I think we're going to do it a little better than we did last year, so we'll get down there and have a chance to get some off-field interviews with some of those guys. So really looking forward to doing that. If you know of any of your players at your school that are going down there or got an invite, tell them, hey, link up with us. Got to get them on for a few minutes and have a little chat with them, get them ready. See what they got going on, getting ready for the NFL. And then we'll jump on after that. We'll probably do every other week, I think. And then y'all know how this goes. This season went quick. We got Senior Bowl in 4 weeks. Then we're going to have spring practice. We're going to have summer workouts. We're going to have the portal. The portal is going to be keeping the news, the headlines open all year long. And there's still some coaching staffs that are not filled out all the way. So going to be a lot happening. And then we'll be in summer workouts. Then we'll be in fall camp. And then we'll be, I don't know where, week 1, but we'll start looking at the schedule. But if you guys have enjoyed the show, first of all, we thank everybody for an awesome 2023. Definitely our most exciting year and just the most stuff happening since we've been doing this thing the last couple of years. 2024, we're hoping to be even bigger and better, but we need your help to do that. We need you to follow us on all the social platforms at Group of 5 Guys. We need you to go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, subscribe to the Group of 5 Guys channel, leave us a 5-star rating, leave us a review, leave a comment on the individual podcast. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us, or you can go to group of 5guys.com get you some Group of Five Guys swag, like that hat Jeff's got on. That I think Tip's got a Group of Five Guys hoodie on right there. Got all that stuff, golf polos, T-shirts, long sleeve, joggers, shorts. A lot of good stuff on there as you get ready. Maybe order a size smaller to motivate you to your New Year's goal. Leaning out a little bit, dropping some poundage. But we appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great 2024. Have a great next couple of weeks. We'll still be all in on Twitter and X. So stay tuned. See you guys.